Hello, welcome. Welcome. This is the global community for adults who are healing CPTSD. My name is Athena, and thank you so much for being here. We've all been gathering here together about once a week for almost 10 years now. And there is nowhere else I would rather be. I absolutely love being here with you all. So for those who are here for our time together, I'm so grateful to have you here. And for those who would listen to this on a replay, thank you so much. I'm so grateful and honored that you have decided to click on this video. Thank you so much for any feedback that you give, and if you find this video to be helpful and supportive to your unique healing journey, or at least interesting, then if you gave it a thumbs up, that would be very helpful, but only if you find it helpful and supportive, or at the very least interesting. And I hope that you will consider subscribing to our channel. We meet up here once a week on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about what's working for us and what hasn't been working for us while we're healing CPTSD. And CPTSD, if you're not familiar with that, is complex post-traumatic stress. So if you think of post-traumatic stress, it can be any trauma, and trauma is the working definition that we will use is trauma is anything that changes the way you see the world around you or the way that you see yourself. And that can be caused by a person, place, or thing. It can be a single incident. It can be a tsunami, a car fire, a robbery, a death of a loved one or a pet. Anything can be trauma, and you can be living with post-traumatic stress. Now, complex post-traumatic stress, or what we are working toward calling CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, that the differentiating factor there is that the trauma is 100% of the time caused by a person. It's interpersonal in nature. So it's repeated relational trauma over a long period of time. So it's not a single incident, and it's not a place or a thing. It's always a person, and it happens repeatedly over a long period of time. And usually there is a loss of safety or a betrayal that is involved. And it really sort of hollows out our insides and causes us to question who we are, and we sometimes don't even feel like we're a real person because we aren't even sure how it is that we're feeling, because we are healing this complex construct of post-traumatic stress. So if that is you, and this is where you are finding yourself, I warmly welcome you to our community, and I am so grateful you have chosen to be here today. What we have been doing over the last few years is we've been, a couple years ago, for a couple years in a row, we went through a book together. We went through Melody Beatty's book titled Language of Letting Go. And what we've been doing over the last several months, about 9 months now, we have been doing our weekly devotional or meditation with Morgan Harper Nichols. Her artwork is what you see up on the screen. And we also have been doing a healing strategy with Dr. Ariel Schwartz from her book, A Practical Guide to Complex PTSD, Compassionate Strategies to Begin Healing from Childhood Trauma. And then we wrap our time up together with our Loving the Self affirmation by Lisa A. Romano. And the way we begin our time together is by settling in and making ourselves very comfortable, and we do some breath work together. And I guide everyone through a few deep breaths together. So that is what this video is going to entail. That's what you will find. And I just want to pause before we do our breath work. And I want to say hello to those of you who are here. It's so good to see everyone. Hello, Jeffrey Sherman. I'm waving back at you. Hello, Craig. It's great to see you. And I am giving you a hug right back. Hello, Ninja Taco. So good to see you, Recovery Buddy. It's so good to see everyone. Jeffrey Sherman, I always appreciate your smiley faces and just how warm and caring you are. Hello, AS. Oh, it's Z. Hey, Z. It's so good to see you. I'm waving back at you. Hello, Midnight Blue. Hello. I'm giving you a purple heart right back. And I have Me Phillips, Mel Phillip, Me Phillips says, good evening all. Am I meeting you for the very first time? I feel like I've met you before. I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm saying good evening back to you. Yeah, Midnight Blue says, I have complex because repeated trauma or multiple ones. Yeah, same here. Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer says, trauma is any experience that is not the normal experiences and is toxic to our well-being. What is normal, though, really? The best definition I heard is normal is a setting on the washing machine, darling. That is what normal is. Yeah, so trauma changes our view of ourselves and the world around us. Hello. Hello, Swaggy Stacy. So good to meet you. Have I met you before? Is this Stacy Sparkly with Stars with a different name? It's great to see you or meet you, Swaggy Stacy. Swaggy Stacy says, I want to get trauma therapy. Well, please, absolutely, yes. This YouTube channel is sponsored by the Foundation for Post-Traumatic Healing and Complex Trauma Research, also known as CPTSDfoundation.org. And we do 2 calls a day every day, sort of just like this, but on different topics. We have a topic calendar, and we get to spend time together, and it's really, really wonderful. The greater trauma healing community are just so kind and warm. Hello. Hello to you, Timothy. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Angela. I was just thinking of you yesterday. I was wondering how everything's going with the living situation, and I know that you had moved, and just thinking of you and hoping that you're doing okay. How are you, Recovery Buddy? How are you, Ninja Taco? Hoping everybody is doing well. Swaggy Stacy says, I love Lisa A. Romano. Her meditations I do daily, and she saved me more than she knows. She is a godsend. I am echoing those words. She is absolutely magnificent, and she has helped me a lot also. So without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and lead us in some breath work, and then we will begin our reading. Morgan Harper Nichols has some thought-provoking, beautiful, gentle questions for us today. And if you are a person who likes journal prompts, today is definitely a great day for you. So my setup is I am sitting in my workspace. I do have my feet propped up out in front of me, and I have a pillow supporting my posture. And I have a glass of cold water nearby. And I have my feet out in front of me so that I can be very comfortable. And we'll go ahead and we will begin, and we'll do some box breathing together. So we'll breathe in for 4 counts, and we will hold for 4 counts, and we will breathe out for 4 counts, and we will do that together 4 times. I will count us in on our first breath and our 4th breath, and then you can breathe on your own, however you like, on your 2nd and 3rd breath. Okay? So let us begin. We're going to breathe in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. On your own now. Again. Last time. Breathe in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Well done. How did that feel? I got a nice yawn. So we are here, and the focus is to regulate our nervous system while also going inward and increasing our self-awareness. And as we continue to become more self-aware, we are able to heal at a deeper level. And that is always, always the goal. Healing from repeated relational trauma takes so much effort and so much energy and so much time. So if we can become aware of what's going on the inside, then we are able to more effectively heal. Not only become more effective, but we can become more efficient. I know that it's a long journey when we are healing. And I know that it gets to be feeling like it will never end. But I really want to encourage you today. I want to encourage you because we are doing everything we can to heal from things that we did not cause or ask for. And wherever you find yourself today on your healing journey, I just want to pause and witness you with such compassion. I want to acknowledge that wherever you find yourself on your journey today, wherever you find yourself. Your healing, your journey, your lived experience is valid and it matters. You've been through so much if you are here in a place where we are healing from repeated relational trauma. I have such deep empathy for your journey. And while each of our journeys is unique, one thing remains true across the board with all of us, and that is that when we connect with others in a safe enough place where we are able to feel seen and heard within the context of safety in community like this, it helps our healing journey. It helps to deepen our healing. And it makes it a lot less lonely. And I don't know about you all, but this healing from complex trauma, the journey feels very, very long, and it can feel quite isolating. So please be gentle with yourself as we move forward today. Okay? And here we go. We're going to start with our devotional meditation with Morgan Harper Nichols, and then we will move on to our healing strategy and wrap up with our Loving the Self affirmation. Here we go. Morgan says, even when surrounded by incredibly talented and gifted people, you still have your own strengths and gifts too. Even when you feel like you must try harder to stand out, what makes you unique can shine just as brightly as your ambition. Even when you desire feedback or validation from others, it is not too late for you to make connections that will offer support. Even when you find yourself becoming all too aware of the things that others do, the way others do things, the depth of your insight is as valuable as your presence. Remember these things when you find yourself wondering if you will ever be enough to truly make an impact in this world. You are enough. That is the title of today's video. You are enough. Yes, there will be people you encounter with great talent who bring a gift to the world, but that doesn't take away from what you have to share, even if it shows up in different ways. There will be those whom you long to hear say, "I'm proud of you." And you are allowed to feel what you need to feel while knowing that their lack of acknowledgement does not take away from what you are worth. There will also be those whom you may pay close attention to and be inspired by. But the way you can eloquently tell the story of the work they do doesn't take away from the fact that someone could do the same for you. Yes, there is always room for growth. But your growth doesn't only become valid when you reach the peak of someone else's expectations or standards. Even when someone else's standards could lead to new opportunities or possibilities, your story your growth and your contribution cannot be quantified based on someone else's perception of you. Continue to get to know and hone your strengths and nurture your gifts by identifying how you can be kind to yourself as you continue to grow. And if you feel the urge to make significant changes after observing others, pause and reflect on this question. Is this a genuine desire, or am I reacting to personal pressures? Am I seeking a fresh start, or am I influenced by comparisons? Remember, it is never too much to remember why you do it and consider what's most important for you. When you seek approval or validation for your endeavors, spend a moment with this thought. Beyond validation, what am I truly seeking? Is it a sense of belonging? A need for love or affection? Understand that desiring these things doesn't signify weakness. Allow yourself to recognize these feelings and explore healthy ways to navigate them by seeking genuine connections with others. Pay attention to the places in your life where you don't feel like you have to perform. If you find yourself observing others and then feeling overwhelmed with options about all the things you could do, leading you to retreat or disengage, please treat yourself with compassion as you ponder, how can I create a space to be myself and recover, while also cultivating bravery in my interactions with others. Kind of like we do here. Morgan says, seek out environments and communities where you feel like you can allow yourself to be curious without the pressure to join in on everything right away. Pace yourself and engage at a mindful pace. And wherever you find yourself, remember that you are on a unique journey. And on this unique journey, you are allowed to ask yourself unique questions that relate to where you are. You've likely encountered questions like, so, what do you do? What's your major? What's your role? What's your passion? And however, while these questions might be customary, they hardly scratch the surface of the rich tapestry of human experiences. You have every right to delve deeper. Embrace the chance to ask more nuanced questions about our unique strengths and the diverse gifts we offer the world. Allow yourself to reflect on these queries and invite others to do the same. Because if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the myriad paths you could embark on, you are not alone. So, asking more thoughtful questions can help take the pressure off of others, too. Here are some great, nuanced questions, more thoughtful questions. Please feel free to share in the chat box whatever comes up for you. What is bringing you joy right now that you would like to go deeper into? Where do you find spontaneous joy free from planning or future concerns? What good thing have you not been able to stop thinking about? What aspects of what you do each week resonate with your heart? Is there something you really enjoy being a leader of or being in charge of? What is it? Has there ever been a moment in your life where you were just happy to be a part of something, even if you didn't know what your specific role was? What things have you been able to do in your life that make you feel the most seen and loved for who you are? What subjects have you been diving deep into lately that are important to you? Why do you want what you want? Why do you do what you do? Has your why changed over the past 10 years? Why do you think that is? When and where have you felt the most free to be yourself? What were you doing? Who were you with? What did it feel like? These questions are only the beginning, but they can serve as alternatives to the more general questions that can cause us to get stuck. May these questions invite you to go deeper into the things that make you you. May you continue to explore how you can be more authentically you right here where you are. I love Morgan and her gentle way and just the way that she communicates. How are you all feeling? Yeah. Ninja Taco says art. I love that. And I like when you share your art also on social. I enjoy that. Midnight Blue says, I don't like small talk and I prefer deeper discussions also. Yeah, me too. Millie Phillips says, connecting with people that help me feel the way I want to feel. A new friend shared the most personal thing with me yesterday, and I was so touched that they trusted me. That's wonderful. That says a lot about you, that they would trust you. That's beautiful. Craig says, yes, Midnight Blue, I know what you mean. Yeah. Hello, Nadine. So good to see you. Hello, Rhonda. Peace and gratitude to you as well. So, our healing strategy this week with Dr. Ariel Schwartz, it's a deep one. It's really deep. It's a great tool, but I want to invite you to go back and listen to last week's if this one is like a little bit too much for you. Because what we're doing is we're imagining a reparative experience from something that was painful for us when we were younger. So last week, today, and next week, we're on a 3-week series all about cultivating healthy interpersonal relationships. And next week, we have a bit of a we have a bit of a template. We're going to practice healthy relationship skills next week. There's a bit of a cliffhanger for you, right? So that's what we're doing next week. But one of the ways that we can become more healthy in our relationships is by healing old wounds that were traumas that we experienced from when we were younger. So it starts off today with a story from someone named John. And Ariel shares some commentary on what John shares also. So John says, I see how easy it is for other people to get out there and make friends. But for me, I feel so different. I'm reminded of being in school as a kid and how I was bullied. I've never felt confident in social settings. At some point, I just stopped trying. I just know that there is something wrong with me. End quote. So then Dr. Ariel Schwartz says, John's story is a reminder that childhood trauma can take a toll on our capacity to maintain meaningful relationships in a variety of social settings. Not only was John bullied in school, but also his parents never helped him work through the impact of those experiences. They weren't emotionally available to support him. His mother was often anxious, and his father was disengaged at home because he worked so much of the time. John coped by working hard at school, but he had a hard time making friends. And now that he's in college, John sees others making friends easily, and he wishes he could feel more confident. And sadly, he has become increasingly isolated. In therapy, John was able to build greater self-awareness about the impact of his childhood trauma and neglect. And for the first time, he was able to feel his emotions of anger and hurt. We explored what it would have been like as a child to have had supportive, protective, and loving parents. We discussed how it might have felt to have a mother who didn't collapse in tears when John talked to her about his own difficulties. He imagined having a father who paid attention to him, believed in him, and helped him learn to stand up for himself against the bullies at school. As John imagined these healing experiences, he explored how his life might have been different. Over time, he felt increasingly empowered to initiate friendships and attend social events at school. He began to feel more comfortable beginning conversations with others, and he noticed that they responded positively and they invited him to participate in other events. He was rebuilding his social identity. So, isn't that interesting? I love that story of John, and it is so much the story of me as well. Like, I didn't have that parental support at all. And I have over the years, I'm going to be 50 next month. I have over the years been able to rebuild my social identity. And at the same time, I do feel isolated occasionally. Like, I'm quite introverted, and I do really, really, really enjoy my alone time. And if I'm around too many people or my nervous system gets overstimulated, it's very exhausting for me. So I do better in smaller groups, like where it's just a couple of my girlfriends, or like going out on a date where it's just like one other person and I, or even just, just a smaller group. I do much better. So if that's you, you're not alone. You don't have to be this extroverted person that works a room and makes everybody laugh. And, those who know me the best, who know me well, and they've known me for like 30 years, between 20 and 30 years. Like, some of my girlfriends have known me for decades, and they're like, "You're hilarious." They tell me I'm really funny, and I'm like, well, I'm not really trying to be funny, but okay. Maybe that's just because I'm socially awkward. No, but really, all of us would love to not be socially awkward, but for some of us, depending on our level of childhood trauma and level of interaction with others and level of socialization that we experienced, or lack thereof, we may or may not feel comfortable in social settings. So that's why today's healing strategy can really, really, really help us a lot. It's super deep and it's painful and it's hard, but it's worth it. And I'm here telling you that this stuff really works. And then if today's healing strategy isn't really like your bag, like it's really just not your jam, that's okay. Like, just skip it. Take the best, leave the rest, as they say in the 12-step rooms. But next week, we do have a template for practicing healthy relationships, and I'm super excited for that. But we're gonna do today's healing strategy now. That was our preface with the story from John, so that we could sort of lead us into what it is that we're going to talk about today. John needed to go back and think about and imagine what it would have been like to have a supportive family. And that was painful for him. But the benefit of that is that it says right here, like, over time, he began to feel increasingly empowered in his personal life. So empowered that he began to initiate friendships and attend social events. And he got so comfortable that he was beginning conversations, initiating conversations with other people. And he noticed that they responded positively, and they started inviting him to participate in other events. So maybe that's not what you're looking for. Maybe you are fine with sort of keeping to yourself. And if that's you, then I honor you and I honor your process. But for those of us who want to feel increasingly empowered, and we want to have the courage and the level of comfort and confidence to initiate conversations and feel comfortable in social settings, then what Ariel is sharing here, she says, in order for us to heal from CPTSD, it is important to acknowledge the pain that we may have felt as a child. So this next healing strategy allows us to imagine new healing or reparative experiences that can help us to develop a nurturing relationship with our younger self. So this is inner child work. So for example, if you felt alone or neglected as a child, you may imagine a nurturing person who could have been there with you, with that young part of you. Or if you felt afraid or threatened, then a reparative process might involve bringing in a new experience of protection. If you were being abused or violated, your reparative experience might involve leaving the dangerous environment or being rescued. Or if you felt humiliated and ashamed, your reparative process could involve imagining an experience of being accepted. But remember, if you're currently feeling triggered, this is YouTube. This is not a place for us to process trauma. And you please just step away and take really good care of yourself if you're feeling triggered and that this isn't a good time for you. Start by strengthening your adult self by going back and listening to last week's video where the healing strategy was titled Anchoring Your Adult Self. Or you can also go to cptsdfoundation.org/crisis resources and contact someone on that list if you find yourself in crisis. But if you are open to beginning this practice, this is what it will look like. The way we begin this practice is by imagining a specific event from our childhood that continues to feel painful to us. Take some time to visualize this event and imagine how you felt back then. If you were to look at a photograph of yourself from this time, what would you see in your face? What else might you notice? Now, take the time to reflect upon what was missing in your experience. Was it that you most needed? What was it that you most needed at that time? And what do you imagine your younger self needed to hear? So, for example, did you need to be nurtured? Did you need to be protected or rescued? Did you need to be fully accepted? Or maybe it was something else. Now, can you imagine meeting the needs of your younger self? Perhaps you can imagine visiting your child self as the adult you are now. Or you can imagine another person whom you would like to have been there with you. Take time to imagine giving healing words or actions to yourself as a child. What do you notice now? How do you feel emotionally and in your body? You can take as long as you like, 5-10 minutes, as long as you like, to explore the healing moment. You can come back to this as often as you like. You can always repeat this process. You can return to this memory as many times as you need until your younger self feels soothed. Self-soothing is so healing. And if you notice that it is difficult to cultivate compassion or loving kindness for the painful memories of your past, remember, it's always helpful to reach out to someone who is trauma-informed in a therapeutic setting. But if this strategy has brought you any relief, you can choose to repeat this process with other memories. Knowing that the result will be that we will feel more comfortable, more confident, more capable in social settings with others, so that we will isolate less and connect more. So over the last couple of weeks, we focused on healing the interpersonal wounds of our past so that we can develop healthy interpersonal relationships in the present. And remember, it always bears repeating. This is so important for us to remember. Relationship issues are at the very center of CPTSD and childhood trauma. They just are. And it's so very important for you to be gentle with yourself, especially when you find yourself in conflict with loved ones, friends, colleagues, partners, children. Please be gentle with yourself. Interpersonal challenges will continue to arise throughout our life, but the impact of these difficult moments will be less intense as we practice speaking kindly and repairing the difficult moments as they arise. So just please be kind and gentle with yourself, like I remind you every week. And next week, as I mentioned, we are going to practice healthy relationship skills. We have a template. We're going to practice healthy relationship skills that foster healthy relationships in our life right now. So I'm really looking forward to that. And as we end our time together today, I just want to check in with you. How was that for you? Thank you so much, Jeffrey Sherman. Love and support to you as well. Yeah. I'm differently social also, Millie Phillips. I am differently social, for sure. Oh, Angela, you have to move again. I'm so sorry. Yes, you will be okay. Aw, Z. Z says, I'm trying to venture out and be a little more social. I'm very socially awkward. Me too. Me too. Aw, Angela. Angela says, maybe I'm weird, but I've genuinely lost a desire to be close to people. I feel at peace on my own. You're absolutely not weird. Not at all. Good for you. As Nadine says, you are in good company. And yes, I agree with Z. It is hard to find like-minded and gentle people. Millie Phillips says, I just found my local queer community. It's small and it's broken, and it may be the first time I actively feel queer and feel part of an actual physical community. Good for you. And they go on to say, it's so beautiful and so heartbreaking because I'm not sure I'll be able to stay in this area. I can tell when I'm in freeze or not thinking impulsively. I'm grateful that you're experiencing community. My hand is on my heart. Just hoping you get to continue to experience that. Aw, thank you, Craig. I'm sending you hugs right back. You're so very welcome. You are so very welcome. We're going to end our time today with our Loving the Self affirmation from Lisa A. Romano. Lisa says, oftentimes we struggle with a fear of being alone because our entire worlds have been built on seeking approval, guidance, and worth from outside of ourselves. The idea of being alone with that type of input from others may be frightening. But I know that until I learn how to heal from within and learn how to validate my own self, I'll continue to settle for non-fulfilling relationships with others. So today, I know that all I need truly is within me. I am strong. I am capable. I can take care of me. It's wonderful. I am strong. I am capable. I can take care of me. Well, please remember, between now and when I see you again, next Monday, we're going to practice healthy relationship skills. We have a template. I'm so excited, like examples of ways we can do things. And, but please remember, between now and then, the message for today is you are enough. Just as you are. You are enough. You are enough. Please be extra kind and extra patient and extra gentle with yourself, because you're worth it. And I look forward to seeing you either next Monday, right back here, or over in our community, wherever I see you first. Here's a link in the chat box and in the description section of this video. Good night, everyone.